Watch this. A search box filtering as you type, a list loading more rows on demand, a form that saves in place with no page reload. Every piece of that is live and interactive, and there is not one single line of JavaScript that I wrote to make it happen. The entire front end is two things: one style sheet and one script tag. Tailwind version 4 and HTMX. Tailwind paints the page, HTMX makes it move. You write HTML, the server sends back HTML, and that exchange is the whole app. Two catches before we dig in. The phrase Zero-JavaScript has an asterisk, and there are three walls where this stack breaks. HTMX first. It is not a framework, and there is no week of learning. It is a few attributes you add to plain HTML. You put hget equals /messages on a button. When someone clicks it, the browser asks the server for that URL in the background. The server answers with a chunk of HTML. HTMX drops it into the page exactly where you pointed it. No full reload, no JSON to pass, and the whole library is about 14 kilobytes. For comparison, a typical React app ships 200 to 400 kilobytes of JavaScript. Then Tailwind version 4 does the styling. You describe the look with short class names sitting right next to the markup they apply to. Here is the plan, what each tool actually does, the receipts from real rewrites, then the three walls, and a straight verdict at the end. So what is HTMX really doing? It brings back the idea the web was born on. The server sends hypermedia, plain HTML with links and forms, and the browser just renders it. There is no second application sitting on top of it in JavaScript. 4 attributes carry most of it. hxGet or hxPost says where the request goes. hxTrigger says which event fires it, a click, a keystroke, a submit. hxTarget says which element gets replaced, and hxSwap says how the new HTML goes in. That last one is more flexible than it looks. You can replace an element's inner content, swap the whole element out, or append new rows to the end of a list. Infinite scroll becomes one attribute and a little code on the server. Here is a real live search box. hxPost to /search, hxTrigger set to key up with a 500 millisecond delay so it waits until you stop typing, and hxTarget aimed at the results list. That is the entire feature written in the markup. As you type, the server runs the query and returns a block of table rows. HTMX drops them into the list. You did not write a fetch call. There is no state to declare and no loading flag to forget to switch back off. Carson Gross, who built HTMX, calls this locality of behavior. Everything an element does is written on that element. You read one button and you know what it sends and what it changes. No hunting through 5 different files. Compare that to a modern React app. Before you touch a feature, you are juggling 6 layers: a meta framework, a state library, a data fetching library, a build pipeline, TypeScript, and a test setup. HTMX removes most of that from the front end, and HTMX does not care what is behind it. Anything that returns a string works. Django, Rails, Go, Laravel, Flask, ASP.NET. If your language can print HTML, your front end is already handled. This is not fringe either. In the 2025 State of JS survey, out this February, React still leads usage at 83.6%, but its satisfaction keeps sliding, and HTMX sits right near the top of the tools developers most admire, and it just got its biggest upgrade in years. In April, HTMX 4.0 shipped, rebuilt on the browser's modern fetch API, replacing the 20-year-old request object it ran on before. That one change brings native streaming. The server can send its response in pieces, and HTMX acts on each fragment as it arrives instead of waiting for the whole thing. Same idea as React Server Components, in 14 kilobytes. Version 4 also pulls 2 things into the core. Idiomorph, which compares the incoming HTML to what is already on screen and touches only what actually changed. And native view transitions, so pages fade and slide with no extra code. It even fails gracefully now. In 4.0, you route status codes in the HTML itself, send a 404:1 element, and any 500 to an error banner, so a broken request shows real feedback instead of a frozen screen. One detail I love: Gross had publicly promised there would never be an HTMX 3.0. So the team skipped 3 completely and shipped 4.0. His official statement was a single word: oops. Now the paint. Tailwind is utility first. Instead of writing CSS and inventing class names, you build the design from tiny pre-built classes: Flex, Gap4, TextLG, Rounded, right there in the HTML. It looks cluttered until you try it. You stop flipping between 2 files, you stop naming things. You stop scrolling a style sheet, wondering whether some old rule is still used anywhere. The styling lives with the element it styles, and the same class names carry the responsive and dark mode rules, a prefix like MD or dark, and the style only applies on a wider screen or in dark mode. Your whole design system fits in the markup, with no media queries to write. Version 4 rethought setup, the old JavaScript config file is gone. You set colors, fonts, and spacing in CSS itself, inside an @theme block, and they become real CSS variables. One import line, and it runs. Under the hood is a new engine called Oxide, rewritten in Rust. Version 3 leaned on Node and PostCSS. This one is a native binary, and it changes the numbers completely. Tailwind's own benchmark, a full build dropped from 378 milliseconds to 100. And a rebuild where nothing new needs compiling went from 35 milliseconds to 192 microseconds. Not milliseconds, microseconds, that is 182 times faster. The build stops being something you wait for. You save the file, and the styles are already on screen before your eyes get back to the browser. And it only ships the classes you actually used anywhere in the project. A full production page lands around 18 kilobytes of CSS after gzip, smaller than the version 3 it replaced, with more features on top. It is still moving fast. The current release, 4.3 from May, added first-class scrollbar styling and more logical properties, and it builds on CSS. The browser runs natively, container queries, cascade layers, color mix. Here is why these two belong together. Both of them live inside your HTML. The server renders the Tailwind classes and the HTMX attributes in the same template in one pass. There is no separate front-end app to keep in sync. So the architecture is one simple loop. The browser makes a request. The server renders an HTML fragment already styled with Tailwind. HTMX swaps that fragment into the page. Click again and the loop just runs once more. Look at what is missing from that loop. No client-side router, no JSON API to design, version, and document, no store holding a second copy of your data. The database stays the single source of truth front to back, and if you already know the back end, the learning curve is nearly flat. No virtual DOM, no reconciliation, no hooks to memorize. You debug it with the network tab in your browser, watching HTML travel back and forth. Do the receipts hold up? Take one concrete rebuild. Last November, a developer rebuilt a production React admin dashboard on exactly this stack and measured both ends. The React version was 3,200 lines of code, an 847 kilobyte bundle, and a 2.4 second load. The rebuild came in at 890 lines, a 14 kilobyte bundle, and a 180 millisecond load. Same app, same features. That is 72% less code, loading more than 10 times faster. On a throttled 3G phone, the Lighthouse performance score climbed from 34 to 94, the gap between painful and instant. Line the starting points up. A brand new Next.js 16 Hello World ships about 184 kilobytes of JavaScript before you write a single feature. The same blank start in HTMX is 14. In pure server HTML, it is 0. One more win that is easy to miss. HTML fragments cache beautifully on a CDN because they are just documents. Dynamic JSON is much harder to cache. The server renders a little more, but the network carries far less. The pattern repeats across ordinary apps. Teams moving CRUD features onto this stack report cutting front-end code by 40 to 60%, and most of what they deleted only existed to manage state that now lives on the server. Now, the asterisk I promised. Let me be precise. HTMX is JavaScript. That 14 kilobyte file is a JavaScript library, and it runs in your browser. Tailwind, for its part, compiles down to plain CSS, with no runtime at all. So Zero-JavaScript does not mean the browser runs none. It means you write none. You ship one small, stable library you rarely touch, and it is HTML and CSS the rest of the way, no framework, no build step for your own code. Which brings us to the three walls, the real places where you close this file and open React instead. Wall 1, real-time, collaborative editing. Google Docs, Figma, a Notion page with two cursors moving at once. That needs client state measured in microseconds. A 200 millisecond round trip on every keystroke is a non-starter. Wall 2, offline. HTMX needs a live server for every interaction, no connection, no app. If your tool has to keep working on a plane or a subway, the state has to live on the client, and that is React's turf. Wall 3, heavy client interaction. Drag and drop canvases, animation-driven interfaces, complex gestures, native mobile through React Native. When the interaction itself is the product, you want a real client runtime, but most teams miss the obvious move. It is not either or. GitHub renders plain HTML for nearly everything and drops in JavaScript only where it earns its weight, like the code editor. Islands of interactivity in a sea of HTML, so be clear-eyed about what you are building. The large majority of the web is create, read, update, delete. You click a button, something changes on the server, and one part of the page updates. That is the whole job. For that, which is most of what any of us ship, this stack is faster to write, dramatically faster to load, and there is simply far less of it to maintain. The server does the work it has been good at for decades. 2 files, 1 script tag you barely touch, and 0 JavaScript that you write. Learn where the 3 walls are, and you will reach for a heavy framework far less often than you do today. Cloud codes, where we take the loud take apart and hand you the boring stack that actually ships.